Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to me. I've been away for 5 weeks. I took a traditional Swedish vacation, which means that you were away for at least a couple of weeks during summer. But here I am, and I'm struggling a bit with the format here. I want to do some kind of podcast, but obviously nowadays everything is video as well. So I also want to do video, and you have to bear with me. It's not going to be perfect every time, and I'm going to ramble a bit. Yes, I know. But basically, my aim here is to convey the essence of the article that I've published on Fullstack HR. So I rather just talk about it. I'm going to try to do that anyways, because I want to convey the essence of what I'm thinking about right now, which is what I boil down to the article. And someday I'm going to also do a whole shenanigans around how I write my articles nowadays, because that's been a while, and obviously AI has happened since. So I'm going to walk you through the whole process of that as well, somewhere down the line. But this is basically just a podcast version of the article from Fullstack HR, but it's not the actual article. So if you want to read what I'm actually saying as well, without the ramblings, go to Fullstack HR and read the piece, basically. I hope that made sense. I truly do, but we'll see. And this is also based a bit on personal preferences, in all honesty, because I like to listen to stuff. And I know there's different opinions on that. Some people like to read, some people like to listen. But yeah, here we are. And this is, once again, podcast version, but still with video. I like to listen to stuff, hence why I'm here. But obviously, as now everything is video, I'm also doing this on video as well. We'll see if that continues or not, but as for now, that is what it is. That long introduction aside, let's talk about today's topics. And the topic I chose for the article was AI's expectation problem. Because the way I see it, we have an expectation problem here. And the reason why I chose this subject is because now being back from vacation, I've been trying to catch up on all the things that has happened during summer in the AI space, because I've been actively avoiding not reading AI stuff during summer, just to take a mental headspace break from all the things that's been going on. And I've been following AI meticulously since January, or basically November 2022. So I just needed a break. That is all. But now catching up, there's one thing that is lingering or stuck with me, reading reports, reading also what people perceive AI to be or not. Also all the ins and outs of what's going on in OpenAI. People are leaving OpenAI, and also the whole sentiment around AI is shifting a bit due to, for example, NVIDIA being overhyped on the stock market. So my angle on this is taking a look at the Gartner hype cycle. And the Gartner hype cycle has different stages where a technology can be, basically. And it's been debatable if that is still true or not, if the Gartner hype cycle holds up. But I still think it has value to some extent to explain stuff in the eyes and lens of the Gartner hype cycle. And the Gartner hype cycle is basically a curve. And if you look at the video, I'll hopefully show you the Gartner hype cycle now. But I think we're on the peak of inflated expectations. And yes, I know, I see my own role in all of this. To some extent, I've been part of building this hype. I've been talking about it, I've been writing about it. And I'm not saying that AI won't be a thing for HR. I'm just saying that we put a lot of hopes and aspirations and dreams as well into this technology. And I think that if we're not seeing those immediate returns, then the allure of AI will perhaps diminish a bit. And I read a report from Upwork as well, stating that 96% of all CEOs questioned in that survey, or C-level, I think it was in that survey, they say that they strongly believe that AI will impact productivity. So almost everyone believes that this will happen. But yet, if we connect it back to other surveys, talking about that only roughly like 40% have implemented AI in their organizations, and only roughly 40% has got training in place around AI. People have high expectations, high aspirations for AI to solve productivity. And in some cases, I believe that people think that AI will solve everything magically, and that won't happen. So there's a discrepancy here between the hopes and what is actually happening. And one can always argue around, but the 96% of the C-level people have this aspiration. Why aren't they catching up on trainings, for example, or implementation on AI in their organizations? And one can only speculate, but I truly believe that we have a bit higher expectations than we perhaps should at this moment. I see a real risk of now it being a bit of a backlash in regards to AI in the HR field, or AI as a whole as well, where people now start talking about, hey, you promised all of this and we won't see it. And no, they won't connect the dots here saying that, it's because we didn't invest properly in the technology. Oh, we didn't do the stuff we needed to do to upskill our people. And that is also, from an HR perspective, a bit sad because that is our area and we haven't moved in where we should move in regards to that. But that is what it is, right? So I just think that we might be on this peak of expectations now, and it will be a bit of a downhill from here. We will start hearing that, AI didn't do it for us. And we will see headlines along the fall saying like AI was promised to solve productivity issues and they didn't. And once one starts talking about it, there will be others that follows as well. I'm a strong believer that I think long term that we will gain benefits from this. And those who do the work, they will end up in a good place. But just be mindful about that this sentiment will change. That doesn't mean the technology is bad. It's just that the sentiment and the implementation might have been lacking in some instances. That we've been, to some extent, hyping it or maybe overpromising. But still, I think there's true value for those who do the work, those who do grind, and those who do that, they will end up with benefits later down the line. And in the article, I also draw similarities to the IT bubble. We had internet coming and there were so many hopes and aspirations and alert to the internet when internet was a thing back in the late 90s. But it was a bubble, right? And the bubble burst. That doesn't mean internet was a fad or wasn't a thing. Internet has profoundly changed almost every aspect of your life. But at the time, there were more hopes than actual technology. And there were more hopes than actual implementation. And I think the same thing might happen here as well. There might be too much hope and too little work behind that. And, we need to have checks and balances in between those two. I think that will happen long term. So for those of you who are now, hey, should I abandon this? Don't abandon it. But do proper work, do proper implementation, change management projects, and upskill your workers. Because if you do that, I think you're better off. So that was the point of the article. And I obviously articulate it in a better way in the article because once again, I don't want to read it because reading it just from the top down, it felt boring. I want to try something new and I want to try to make this a bit more living. So let me know in the comments what you thought. Did you like this format or not? Is this something that I should continue doing, stop doing? What could I improve? Please subscribe to this podcast if you listen to it at Spotify. If you listen to it at YouTube or LinkedIn, give me a follow and I'll see you in the next one.